We're
Ready?
recording.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to White Mountain Approves. My name is Ken, and coming in this broadcast is Keith and Dave. And again, Ian is AOL on us tonight, but that's okay. We're going to be talking about breaking down the list of the 4,000 footers. And we're going to start with the lowest elevation mountains, and we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the trails. And just prepare, because we know that a lot of our audience probably doesn't know these trails, don't know these mountains, getting ready to do them. And if we can help you, that's what it's all about. That's what we want to do. So we're going to start off talking about Mount Tecumseh. And I know that Dave and Keith just recently hiked that. So I'm going to turn over to them and let them tell the story.
Hi there. Like BK just said, we did Mount Tecumseh a few weeks ago. Excuse me. And Mount Tecumseh is up in Waterville Valley, New Hampshire. And if you're coming up from down south, you're going to go up 93, and you're going to go to Campton and get on Route 49. It takes you all the way into Waterville Valley. And in the ski area, there's a spot at the lower end of the parking lot where the trail begins. This trail is about 6 miles round trip. And for the most part, it's relatively easy. The mountain itself is just barely 4,000 feet. But you leave the parking lot, and the trail for first couple of miles, 3 miles, I'd say a couple of miles, it's relatively flat. There's some up and hills, up and downs on it. And eventually you actually come up to a right-hand turn where you go to your left, you can actually step out on one of the ski trails, which is kind of exciting, kind of steep. And you turn around, and then you start ascending from there to the summit of Tecumseh. You get within approximately 1.5 miles, it starts getting real steep. And it kind of goes up and turns to the left and comes around the side over on the top of Tecumseh. And it has one very small viewing area. You can peek out, you can see the ski area, you can see the lodge down at the bottom. The whole hike, I would say, probably should take maybe 3 hours, 4 hours on it, doing an average pace on it. But for a beginning hike, it's not too bad. I'd say for the first half of it, it's relatively flat. So it's kind of a nice hike too, enjoyable hike. Now I have a map here that I use that has, let's see, Tecumseh is, I don't think how well you can see it. Tecumseh is right here, and it shows that it's 4,003 feet. You can actually see Waterville Valley ski area on it. But this is a map that I purchased at the AMC hut up in Crawford Notch. It was $10 at the time. And it tells you all about the conditions of the trail, the mileage points on the trail, and any huts or lean-tos, and it even has winter hiking on it too. So it's a pretty good map to follow and help keep you safe and not lost. So I guess I'll set it back to BK now.
All right. Well, Dave, you hiked that too. You got any input on that? Like, how about the views, switchbacks, steep? What's the deal?
Yeah, it's a fairly steep height, as Keith mentioned, up towards the top. The views are out looking towards Osceola's. And I'll share a picture of this in the screen so that everyone can see it. There's some really nice views in that one lookout, looking towards the Osceolas and east, towards maybe Mount Passaconaway. I believe you can see the Tripyramids off to the side as well, but really, really nice view. It's small, it's all treed, but definitely nice.
Great. Okay. The next mountain we want to cover is Mount Isolation. And boy, this one earns its name. Mount Isolation is only 4,003 feet of elevation. It is right smack dab in the middle of the Presidential Range Dry River Wilderness. So there's just no easy way to get to this mountain. It's a real hike. You can either come off a 302 and go up the Davis Path, past Crawford Mountain, past Resolution and Stairs, and then take the Davis Path straight. It's about 5.7 miles from that point to the mountain and then all the way back out again. And that's probably going to be about 17, 18 miles, I'm thinking, to do an in and out that way. Some people come in off of the Davis Path towards Mount Pierce. The Crawford Path towards Mount Pierce. And then they take the Mizpah Cutoff From there, they hit the Dry River cutoff and then pick up Isolation Trail, which actually bypasses the peak by about 1.2 miles. Then you have to drop back down into it. The easiest, probably shortest way is the Rocky Branch Trail, and you want to pick it up off of Route 16 as far up as you can, because there's a Rocky Branch Trail that starts way, way, way down south. Past Iron Mountain and in the town of Jackson. And so if you go further up Route 16, you take that trail, Rocky Branch Trail, it connects you to the Isolation Mountain Trail. And again, that goes about a mile past the summit, and then you got to turn around and backtrack. The good and the bad about the Rocky Branch Trail is that you get most of your elevation within that first mile and a half. It's a pull, but you get most of your elevation. And then from there on out, it's a lot of flat hiking, relatively flat, all the way up till like the last pull to the actual summit of Mount Isolation. The downside of it is that the Mount Isolation Trail follows the Rocky Branch River, and it is a wet trail. When Keith and I did it, it was more rock hopping over standing water than hiking on a trail. It was a workout because it's such a wet trail. When you get tired enough, you don't care. You just slog right through the swamp. But the good side about it is it has wonderful views. It has almost 360-degree views. You get great views of the presidentials, which is just to the north. But no matter how you do it, the shortest one is the Rocky Branch to Isolation, and then to the Davis Path to the mountain, and then back out again. And that is going to be a minimum of 14 and a half miles. So the Mount Isolation, it earns its name. It earns its name. So you guys have done it. Any comments from you guys?
Yeah. Good, Keith.
I would say, like PK said, it is a very rocky, wet, stone hopping trail. I would recommend, if you want to do this, do it in the wintertime, because all that is covered, and it's really a great hike. I think, in fact, it's one of my to-do lists this winter is to do that trail just to see the difference. I bet you make better time, because that's roughly 14, 15 miles round trip going up that way. And by the time we got back to the car, we did it in the summer, my legs were shot just from trying to balance on stones and stepping over stones and all that. My feet were sore. So I'd recommend that as a winter hike. Dave?
Yeah, those are all great points, Keith. And I was going to mention that it's on our list for this winter to go and give it a shot and see if we can make it. Hopefully the trail's packed down. Ian and I attempted it a couple of years ago, and there was a lot of snow that winter. We got just past the Engine Hill, and we lost the trail. Whoever was breaking it out must have turned back around. We would have continued and tried breaking it out, but we couldn't even find where it went through that last section. So hopefully this winter will be packed in. We'll give it another try.
Great. So there you have it, folks. Those are two great hikes. They are the least elevation hikes on the 4,000-foot list, Mount Isolation and Mount Tecumseh. So if you're starting out, a lot of times you look at the shortest mountains and you think those are going to be the easiest hikes, but not necessarily true when it comes to Mount Isolation. All right. Well, hey, hope you enjoy this. We're going to continue in our next broadcast, breaking this down, going 2 mountains at a time, and we're going to cover them all. So if you're looking for specific info on any hike, stick with us and we'll get to it. Other than that, safe hiking.
Take care.
See you at a trail.